what about Elon? How does someone you've written about quite a bit and someone that's skirted, some of the SEC regulations and disclosures and all that? How do you think this Twitter thing ends for him from here? You've written that, he can't really get out of it, right?
Yeah, I hate to speculate on this because I think it will close and he will pay $54.20 a share for Twitter. And it doesn't seem that controversial to me, right? Like he hasn't said that he won't really ever, but certainly not in the last week or two, right?
Yeah.
He implied that he wouldn't, that was a while ago, and he's gone quiet and moved on to other things and talked about how he's going to own Twitter and keeps doing the filings and doing, proceeding with all the steps that are required to get the deal closed. And there's no regulatory impediment. The shareholders are going to vote yes. He has the money. It's fine. He's going to close this deal. But it's trading at $40 a share.
Totally.
And
a lot of people don't believe it's going to close.
And I don't fully understand why, but their money's on the line. So I assume that they have some reason. I don't understand it.
If you listen to his tone when the All In guys were interviewing him at their conference, I mean, his tone would say, and again, this is one of those things: do you take Elon literally or do you take him, directionally in what he's saying? But his tone and how he was talking about this definitely didn't seem like he intended to close. Now it sounds like they're.
Yeah, I mean, my assumption is that he was sort of clearly. At that time, clearly he was overpaying, right?
Yeah.
He put in a price that looked sort of right, good enough to get the board interested, but not wildly overpaying. And then the market collapsed and Tesla collapsed.
Yeah.
So he has less money than he did. And so now it feels like he's overpaying. And so he sort of it seems to me that he floated a trial balloon of can I get away with talking some shit about Twitter and renegotiating the price? And it does feel like the answer was no, right? Where people like me went on the internet to be no, and Twitter was no, and so I could be totally wrong, and he could be we're going to litigate this to the death, and I will destroy Twitter unless they renegotiate it down to $45, or I will walk away, But my impression from him stirring this shit up for 24 hours and then dropping it is that it was sort of a trial balloon of can I get out of this? And the answer was kind of no, and then he dropped it. But I cannot look into the man's head. I have no idea. So
yeah. How do you think all this SEC stuff plays out for him?
He very brazenly violated a number of not very important rules.
Yes,
is the answer, right? Which is unfortunate. But I think. They've sent him a letter being why did you violate all these rules? And they will eventually send him a settlement agreement and he will maybe sign it. And it will be he has to pay them some money. And it will probably be a very, very, very large fine relative to historical fines for violating these rules. And very, very small relative to Elon Musk's net worth or the price of Twitter or anything like that. They're not going to block him from
being a public
company.
They're
not going to arrest him, you know? So it's just because it's not that bad. And if it were anyone else, it wouldn't be that bad. And because he's smirking while doing it, because he's constantly picking fights with the SEC, it's very annoying, but it's just not that bad.
Are you amused by it?
Yeah, for the most part.
Yeah.
I got mad one day, but for the most part, yeah. It's annoying. As a former lawyer, as one likes the rule of law, right?
Yeah,
It would be nice. And it's weird because there are people who are oh, billionaires can get away with anything. But in fact, billionaires have lawyers. And if you are very, very rich, it just doesn't make sense for you to fill out this form late. You have enough money to hire lawyers and not fill out the form late. And you, for the most part, very rich people like a public perception of them that is this is a upstanding, respectable citizen. This is a really a good guy, right? Elon Musk doesn't care, right? And he likes a perception of him that is this is a guy who breaks the law a little bit, and that's very annoying. I don't know.
Do you think that this everything he's done, is he one of one in the same way that, I don't know, Donald Trump seems to be one of one in terms of elements of their fandom and their approach to running a company and politics? Or do you think this has permanently changed corporate governance and going forward for other CEOs, other board members?
I think people draw lessons from him. Yeah, I'm interested to know like what other what like the next sort of like private equity M&A agreement looks like whether the breakup fees will be much bigger, like he signed an agreement that like looks like it should be pretty good. Like it should give Twitter a lot of comfort that he can't get out of it, but like they're squirming, right? So like the next person selling a company is going to sign an even tighter agreement, right?
Yeah.
But
probably even higher breakup fee.
Yeah. But in terms of like how companies are run, like I think that his like really full-time devotion to his persona is hard to replicate, but like I do think people are drawing lessons in terms of like, I think like the one thing I would say is like, like I think that a lot of CEOs, 5 years ago would have said like social media is like a pure downside risk. Like I can like get myself in trouble on Twitter, but I'm not going to like,
change the stock
improve the
price for
fortunes
good.
of my
Yeah.
company by tweeting, right? And then you look at like Elon Musk going, oh yeah, I could have like, raised billions of dollars of equity at an enormous valuation by like having a fan base on Twitter. And I think I think it is very hard to be Elon Musk, but I think if you look at like, like Adam Aaron at AMC is the sort of classic example of like a guy who's like, Harvard College, Harvard Business School, like sort of straightforward business executive who's like, I'm going to be a character on Twitter because that seems to be helpful for my stock price and for my ability to like raise financing. And like, it's worked out. Right.
Yeah.
And like, he's not Elon Musk, but he's like I think there are lessons that people, beyond him are learning from Elon Musk.